Hi, I'm WinstonW, here today for a new movie review. Let's get into it! Before we get into the review, I want to share my opinion about the previous Star Wars movies of the new trilogy. I remember being very excited about The Force Awakens, and I had high expectations, and I was obviously disappointed. I wanted to discover something new and different, but instead we got a remake of The New Hope. Okay, great. I think the thing that pisses me off the most was the main character Rey. The actress is great. I think she plays well, but her story was poorly written. You have heard it before, she has the Mary Sue syndrome, one of the worst I have ever seen, I think. I never understood why Kylo, who was presented like a super powerful Sith, very good with the Force and all, that gets suddenly nerfed and loses against a newbie. He was wounded, okay, but he doesn't even use the Force against her. For some, it might be just details, but for me this is important. How can I believe in a story that doesn't respect the rules established previously? Otherwise, I liked Finn. The idea of a deserted stormtrooper was interesting on Kylo also, even though the character is a bloody emo. Poe and Rey were pretty boring, very generic good guys of the story. I felt so frustrated about The Force Awakens that I didn't even watch The Last Jedi in the cinema, but I should have because I liked it better. Rey was nerfed in that movie for some reasons. You see when I say they don't even respect the rules established previously, but at least it made the character more interesting. She struggles way more. The script was very ballsy. I appreciated the fact that they tried to deconstruct the Star Wars story archetype. Kylo that gets free of his master and wants to destroy the past, Luke's decadence, the weapons business for the war between rebels and the First Order. But at the end of this movie, I truly didn't know what they could make out of this. That movie closed a lot of doors of potential scenarios for the next episode, so I didn't know if I had to be excited or not. I think the biggest problem with the new movies is that you don't really know what they want to tell you. They admitted that they didn't have any plans for the full trilogy, and you can clearly feel it. The script is just like Kylo. He doesn't know what the fuck it should do. Apart from that, the movies are absolutely gorgeous. We can deny that the set design, the special effects, and the coloring are magnificent. Especially The Last Jedi, I like the red signature of the set design. It fits the story perfectly. Red means urgency, blood, high energy, confusion. So I'm recording just before watching the Rise of Skywalker. I will go in half an hour now, so see ya. Okay, so I came back 2 hours ago now. I wrote some notes, so I'm gonna review this movie now. Jesus, what the hell was that? Okay, so the Rise of Skywalker. Where do I start? The story is very confusing. I don't even remember all the things that happen. It doesn't let you catch your breath or anything. It's very intense. I don't like it that much. So the movie starts with Kylo, the supreme commander of the First Order, that gets kidnapped by the new bad guy, Palpatine. For some what the fuck reason, he's alive, and the leader of the Last Order composed of 10,000 destroyers, armed with blasters that can destroy planets. Okay, why not? So now Death Star, Starkiller Base are just all shit weapons. Now every destroyer can do it at this point, and I'm like, okay. Because they don't even know what to do after the death of Snoke, they just brought back Palpatine with the bad guy that everyone knows. They just explain very quickly who was Snoke. It's just a guy created by Palpatine to control the First Order. They don't really explain it. You can feel that they just want to move on. They just want to not talk about it. At some point they arrive at the Burning Man festival. We get the first hint to the fact that Rey is the granddaughter of Palpatine with the lightning bolt and everything. That's actually where she also finds the dagger that will lead her to the location of the second Wayfinder, the Third Planet's Wayfinder. By the way, they find a dagger in the cave they end up in by mistake. How convenient. The story is so confusing, I don't want to summarize the story, I'm just gonna talk about certain aspects of the story. So first, the Force. The fucking Force, what the hell? Basically, they can do whatever they want with it, it's like magic now. I like the beginning of the movie, I was starting to hope that it wouldn't be so bad. But that moment, when Kylo grabs Rey's necklace, my hope started to fall into pieces. They can Skype each other whenever they want, even fight each other from a distance and interact with the environment around them. It's cool visually, but it doesn't make any sense at all, Jesus. Create illusions of yourself, Skype each other, pass objects through space-time, make a barbecue, bake a cake, wall run. The Force is like magic in Harry Potter now. You can also heal and bring back people to life. That kind of powers, it makes sense. I heard it exists in the extended universe, even though I thought it was still coherent at least. Another thing completely incoherent is the connection between Rey and Kylo. In the previous movie, it was mentioned that it was Snoke that created it, but there is some kind of magic connection between them because she's Palpatine and he's a Skywalker? Okay. Another point, the previous movie was called The Last Jedi, but Leia was a Jedi also? Now? Okay. So she could have trained Rey from the beginning, and then also why The Last Jedi? They also explain very quickly how Palpatine survived. Just a random guy explains that he was back thanks to the cloning technology, what the fuck it is. I don't get it because Palpatine has his original body, so doesn't make any sense. Is it really important? The ending is laughable, so Palpatine asks Rey to kill him so he can reincarnate in her, kind of. I was laughing at that moment because Palpatine is urging Rey to strike him down like, yeah, kill me please. It's so fucking hilarious. And then he sucks out the power of Kylo and Rey and gets younger because there is a dual what the fuck thing between them, I don't know, I didn't get it either. Then he throws lightning bolt in the sky and destroys the rebel army. Okay, next time you just take a jetpack and destroy army all alone, doesn't need any ships at this point. Then Rey kills Palpatine because she has the power of Jedi in her and she has two lightsabers, so she reflects the lightning bolt into him and he dies. He didn't think about stopping, so he doesn't kill himself. But you know, at this point, doesn't matter really. Rey dies, and I thought, okay, it makes sense, but Kylo sacrifices himself in order to revive her, and then they kiss. Jesus, why did they kiss? Tell me. Then Kylo just suddenly dies, like this. End of story, no more Skywalker. Rey, after this useless adventure, steals the name of Skywalker. That's why the Rise of Skywalker, the end of suffering. Not many good things in the movie, really. Finn, poor Finn. He was probably one of the most interesting characters, but they did nothing with him. No development in this movie. Rose has no character development either. She was just there because she was introduced in the previous movie, but she's useless. Palpatine is just a Power Rangers bad guy. He's useless. It was funny to see him again, but for me it wasn't necessary to bring him back. It just fits on the previous movies on the entire franchise. The set design and the special effects are great once again. I like the fighting parts a lot. The race at the beginning of the movie with the Falcon Millennium was very much enjoyable. The lightsaber fights finally looked like real fights. They were using the Force for once. I would have preferred that they follow the story of The Last Jedi, or that the story of The Last Jedi never existed. The two directors, J.J. Abrams and Rian Johnson, had different visions, The two storylines are just collapsing on each other, and the result is this movie that doesn't make any sense. The scene I enjoyed the most is the lightsaber fight between Rey and Kylo. I enjoyed it a lot. Finally, we get to see a real fight with the Force. And for me, the worst thing is the moment when Kylo and Rey kiss. Jesus, I was laughing at that moment and I wasn't the only one in the cinema. Why? Why? It wasn't necessary. It doesn't make any sense. It was just cringy as hell. I was suspicious when they were starting to touch each other on the face, but I was like, no, please, they didn't dare to do that, don't tell me. But they did it. They fucking did it. For some reason, I don't know. It finished me. How can it be that bad, really? Why did they do that? It wasn't required. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense. There was no love story between them. So, this movie, 3 out of 10. It's one of the worst Star Wars movies, in my opinion. I wasn't very angry at the end, but in general, I didn't like the movie. I wasn't expecting anything, but I'm still disappointed. At least it made me laugh several times. I could still enjoy it a bit. The movie is gorgeous and the fights were good. I won't watch it again. I will simply not watch the entire trilogy again. I don't want the exact same story, but I still want a good story that makes sense, not like these movies. They didn't take any risk in the first movie, and then they took too much in the second one, and then the third one tried to correct the errors of the previous one, and then it doesn't make any sense. Everything is so confusing. At least the series is very good, so Disney is capable of doing something nice, but it was a fucking disaster with this trilogy, and I hope they won't do something like this again. Alright, that's all for me today. Leave a like, comment and subscribe for more. Let me know what you think about the movie. Maybe you liked it. Let me know what you all think about the movie. Me, I didn't like it, but maybe you liked it, so I would like you to explain to me why. I'm open-minded. I can understand that you still enjoy it for some reasons, so go ahead, leave a comment and explain it to me. Don't forget to check out my music channel and to follow me on social media. You can also find me on pretty much all digital platforms, Spotify, iTunes, Tidal, and so on. All links in the description below. Okay, stay tuned, see you next time!